All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakakwadash. And of course, as always, double honors to our apostles and our elders that rule well at Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, preaching this word in all truth and sincerity. So this is just a quick one, all right? And, what sparked this lesson was, you got backpedaling, reneging ass Trump, okay, where he's giving Iran an ultimatum, a time limit, in which he was going to come down upon them with wrath, okay? But we seen as of yesterday, Trump reneged, all right? He backed out of what he was saying, and now he wants to give Iran another 2 weeks. Called a ceasefire. And then you see Iran, they ain't taking that fucking ceasefire. All right, they began to launch missiles, at Israel and at those other, countries that still have U.S. bases in them. Okay, such as the, Arabs, such as, what was it? Iraq, of course. Different of these countries that still have U.S. bases, Iran is launching these missiles at. Letting you know that they ain't win no fucking ceasefire. This is Isaiah 14:5. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Yeah, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has broken the staff of this devil. Okay, and a staff isn't just something you use as support. A staff is also a weapon, a very mighty weapon at that, because it gives you reach. Okay, it allows you to offend or defend, yourself against enemies from a distance. So that is a very, strategic, mighty weapon. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is making Esau weak, man. This verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. At one time, this guy was going around the globe as the world police, able to just put his foot in your ass, and there be nothing you can say or do about it. Okay, now the scriptures say when you have gone into heaven, I'm gonna get that. All right, this is in the book of, I believe, Obadiah. Okay, and verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars, meaning when they went up into space, so-called went up into space, which we know they launched satellites and, different things up there. As far as people, I don't believe all that. Or at least when they say they've launched and sent people to the moon. All right, the moon is not something you can land on. All right, the moon is a ball of energy. It's a ball of light. And energy and light produce heat. You would die. All right, simply touching it, simply getting too close to it, you would die in these mortal physical bodies. Okay? So it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, there's no other way that could be talking about anybody else but the Edomites, but these so-called white people dealing with, America at this particular moment. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, he talks about space stations, okay, satellites. And that word nest, the etymology of the word nest here, can also be an arsenal of weapons, which is well known that those satellites, they carry weapons. They carry, guided laser technology, calculators for missiles, okay? It says, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And shortly after the so-called moon landing in the late 60s, early 70s, they went into Vietnam. Okay, the American military went into Vietnam and got their asses kicked out there, man. Okay, it's well known if you actually go into the history, the Viet Cong were kicking Esau's ass. And when I say Esau, I mean the American military, because of course you did have Jakes in that military. But here it is, you Jakes, you don't own shit, you don't run shit. That's why it gets to you, gets to me, when Jake will be like, when an American, but Jake, an Israelite, citizen of America, will say, oh, nobody can mess with us, referring to the American military, referring to the U.S. government. Well, nobody can mess with us. Oh, we went in and we bombed them. We bombed them. Nobody can mess with us. There is no us. Okay, this is one of Esau's, one of his factions that simply deals with military. Okay, America is the faction, the branch of military when it comes to Esau's whole system. And another reason is because you got some bird brain Jakes out there, that fight for this devil, man. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night. Oh, and going back to the Vietnam thing, that was it. When America went into Vietnam and were getting their asses kicked, it showed the world that the American military is not invincible. Okay? They are not gods. Okay? That they can be touched. Hence what you see going on right now. Alright, these nations are no longer afraid of this devil. And as Iran engages more and more with America and Israel, the world is going to see, alright, that this devil, he is not who he says he is. Alright, he is not God's chosen people. He is not the people. He can be touched, and he will be touched. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Because eventually these countries that do have dealings and do have ties with America, such as military alliances and, information trading and whatnot, allies, partners, they're going to turn on America, man. One of them that we're really seeing right now is India. India is sending a little bit of secrets to Iran, giving them hints, and also telling America that they shouldn't be out there in Iran, shouldn't engage and drop bombs on Iran because that's close to India. They're afraid of all-out war spilling over. So what this is going to do is say, you know what? You damn Americans and you damn Israelis are the reason for all this calamity, are the reason for poverty and, and disease and war. You're the reason why there can't be world peace. Okay? Isaiah 14:6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, and that people is talking about us. He smote us with a continual stroke. All right? To this day, we are yet in our captivity. And these devils know who we are. They know that we are Yasharallah, we are the Israelites. Okay, but they refuse to let us go, just like Pharaoh. He that ruled the nations in anger, now it's talking about the other people. The nations is persecuted and none hindereth. Now that you're being attacked and they're shooting your planes out the sky, your jet fighters, and dropping bombs and missiles into your bases. Nobody's coming to your aid. All right? You don't see Japan and fucking these other countries that are your allies, India, coming to help you. It's just you Babylonians, you damn Americans, and those so-called Jews, man, Amalek, those damn rats in our land. Even NATO and the EU don't really even want to back you. Okay, to the point that, America is talking about getting out of NATO. All right, leaving NATO. Which eventually, when you read the scriptures, the beast shall eat the whore. NATO and the EU are going to shoot missiles upon America, man. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth in a singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars in Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fowler is come up against us. Because when Esau, as a nation, is taken down, all you so-called white people in your countries, when you go into captivity, into slavery, under the hand of whom you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, whose true name is Yahweh Shai, and the elect of Israel, us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, okay, you ain't going to be able to, conduct your war crimes. And also, you're not going to be able to terraform the planet the way you do. Through terror. All right, deforestation and fracking. Okay? Because that's what you do. You destroy nature in order to build up, a factory. To build a shopping center, a mall. Destroy wildlife. Just so you could cram people into a small ass town, living in apartment projects and houses being built house next to house. When the scripture condemns that, man. People need their space. It's verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee. Even all the chief ones of the earth, it had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? And these nations are starting to see that you became weak. And they're scoffing because now they see that the battlefield has become equal, and if not more, in their favor. Okay, the Iranians seeing you backpedal, seeing Trump renege the way he did, that puts a light on all these nations to say these motherfuckers are weak right now. There's no point in letting up. There's no point in accepting a ceasefire. They're weak. They're in a corner. They don't want to fight. They were thinking that they could just go into Iran and do some stunts and, and have Iran just back out, just forfeit, you know. But you see the moves that they're making, knocking billion-dollar fighter jets out the sky. See what they're doing is they're damaging infrastructure and depleting stockpile. It hasn't got to the point where it's, actual troops versus troops, but more like Iran is just hitting major targets, facilities, bases, hardware. Okay, taking down shields, making it hard for America to just go in there and do what they're known for doing. Just sending in troops and dropping bombs as an ultimatum. With no radars, with no shields, it would be harder for them to have their, troops roaming around, without any radar to protect them and things of that nature, So yeah, it's over for this guy, man. Everybody's seeing how weak this guy is, Anyways, with that, we're going to see what happens in the next coming weeks. But, these nations, starting with Iran, are seeing how weak America, you Edomites are, Israel is, and Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the orange man. All right. Hey, so with that, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Marakakwadash. And of course, as always, double honors to our apostles and our elders that rule well at Great Millstone. Shalom.